Hello, and welcome to a rundown of Dev Diary number 152. What's next after 1.9? Before I go into the Dev Diary, I want to take a moment to thank everyone for their support and feedback of the Victoria 3 tutorial videos. The channel just hit 1,000 subscribers, and I cannot say thank you enough. When I first started the channel about 6 months ago, the idea of having 1,000 subscribers seemed like an impossible task. So the fact that we're there after 6 months makes me very appreciative to all of you. And of course, even more motivated to make more videos. So thank you. This Dev Diary is relatively short but covers a lot of topics considering it's going over their future plans. In these Dev Diaries, they always give us an image like this that's color coordinated to show what they're working on and what is done. One thing I find interesting are these two under Other. I remember seeing this on previous What's Next Dev Diaries and thinking, oh, that would be nice. When you look at these 2 points, find a way to deal with the excessive fiddliness of the trade system in large economies, and improve on companies by turning them into actual actors in your country that can own/expand buildings and interact with characters/policies. That's pretty much the entirety of Charters of Commerce in 2 small bullet points. And now we all know just how much Charters of Commerce and 1.9 has fundamentally changed the game for the better. Makes me look at all these bullet points a little differently. It's worth including as well the gift the devs received for reaching mostly positive reviews on Steam. From now on, I want every event to be accompanied by a mostly positive cake. So if you're a busy gamer on the go and don't have time to read the full Dev Diary, here is a TLDR rundown of what was discussed. As always, a link to the full Dev Diary is in the description and is worth giving a full read. Let's dive in. Overall, after reading this Dev Diary, I think it's clear the next big change to the game is going to be with the military. I already had that sense from the 1.9 update because 1.9 was a massive change to the trade system and a small change to the military, yet those small changes have made big differences in the current military system. For example, how supply is a much bigger aspect now. The things listed as done are tweaking and improving the frontline system to eliminate excessive front splitting and troop teleportation once and for all. This was one of the changes that came with 1.9 and has been working wonderfully. I hadn't thought of this before, but after doing a couple runs with the United States, the front lines in the eventual civil war are much better now. Adding a proper system of military access and finding solutions to other remaining rough edges in the frontline system. This is referring to the new land invasion system, which was also a wonderful addition. For something new, they've added make generals and admirals into more meaningful and noticeable actors in countries and reduce the micromanagement of large numbers of commanders. This is interesting since generals and admirals already impact your country from time to time with the random event that fires every year, giving you the option of making one of them an IG leader. It sounds like we're going to get more options to interact with these characters. I think it'll be great if we have expanded capabilities to make a general an IG leader and eventually the leader of your country, meaning you might hire a general who might not be the best option, but will be a better eventual politician. What's exciting to see is under the updated section they have, make sure that supply is an important and meaningful part of the military system that can win or lose you wars. This is one of the things they changed with 1.9. Previously, supply mainly affected an army's morale, which is important, but now it affects organization, which directly impacts your army's offensive and defensive scores. I'm glad they want to expand on this more because it's changed the importance of keeping your army well supplied. They mention that they're looking to expand this to the Navy as well, which is fantastic. Speaking of navies, they also add this to the updated section, specifically with blockades. This is such a great new mechanic that came with 1.9, and they say they're looking to expand on it. The big thing here is what's listed under not updated, which we've seen in previous dev diaries like this. Turn individual ships into proper pieces of military hardware that can be built, sunk, and repaired rather than just being manpower packages. This will be the big change to the Navy's system, which is why I think it hasn't happened yet. The idea of your military ships not just being a good in your economy, but an actual thing that you have to take care of, might I even say a military unit, is exciting. It'll make you have to really consider whether you want to engage another Navy. Is it worth possibly losing your ships? There's some interesting things here under the historical immersion section. We already know there are two immersion DLCs on their way. National Awakening, which will cover Austria, Hungary, Serbia, Bulgaria, Montenegro, and Yugoslavia. And then Iberian Twilight, which will cover Spain and Portugal. What's also exciting is what's listed under New. Improve the way we simulate certain historical conflicts such as the Opium Wars, American Civil War, and similar to play out a bit closer to the way they did historically. I think any addition that brings us closer to historical accuracy is great since it allows for more historical gameplay, but also allows for more RP options to deviate from history. The AI is pushing towards historical outcomes, while you push in the opposite direction. They also said they're updating base game journal entries to be more in line with the current state of the game. Now listed as done is improving the treaty port system. We saw this in the 1.9 update. Treaty ports are much more impactful now. Something they listed as new is a rework to the war exhaustion system so that one single uncontrolled war goal can't stalemate an entire war. This is fantastic news that I think everyone will be happy to hear. I'm really excited about what they have under not updated, allowing peace deals to be negotiated during a diplomatic play instead of only having the option to give in. To be able to negotiate peace, I assume in a similar fashion to how diplomatic agreements are made now, is exciting news. Right now, the way peace deals are done is fine, but something that gives a little more dynamic play will create more depth to a war. They plan on expanding on the idea of law variants that they introduced in 1.9. This is going to create country-specific versions of certain laws. For example, in 1.9 we got a change to the isolationism law in Great Qing. Now they start with a unique isolationism law called the Canton system. They're looking to expand on this idea. Turn legitimacy into a more interesting mechanic where the strength of a government depends on their success and failures, and highly legitimate governments can't simply be ousted at a whim, but have to be undermined first. This is really exciting and will add even more depth to the politics of your country. Currently, you can kind of move interest groups in and out of the government as you wish. You do still suffer legitimacy penalties, which creates a mechanic where you can do it if you want to, but it might not be a good idea. Adding more depth to this will make internal politics even more fun. They also mentioned adding a mechanic of national pride, which will impact legitimacy. Just from the title, it kind of sounds like this will be part of the update and DLC National Awakening, but that's just my guess. So overall, it sounds like there's a lot of exciting changes coming. The vibe of this dev diary really gives the impression that the dev team feels a heightened sense of motivation after the massively positive reception to Charters of Commerce. It was a fantastic DLC and update, and they deserve their praise, and I'm glad it means we're getting even more changes to game mechanics. They did mention there won't be any more dev diaries until August, so you can put your reading glasses away until then. If you haven't already, consider giving the video a like and the channel a subscribe so you can be alerted to the next time I release videos. That's it for now. As always, be awesome.